everyone, Creepy here. So today we're going to be covering a Matt Walsh video. It's been quite some time since I've covered a Matt Walsh video, but hey, let's get into it.
Today is Valentine's Day, in case you didn't realize. In fact, if you're a man listening to this and you just remembered what day it is, don't panic. There's still time to run to the store on the way home from work, pick up a gift. Most of the cards and flowers probably been picked over by now, but fortunately, I've always found that the pots and pans and kitchen utensil aisle of the grocery store is well stocked around Valentine's Day. So grab a box of forks, a spatula, maybe a new spaghetti strainer if you really want to spoil her. Throw them in a gift bag. You're going to have a very happy wife.
Obviously, this video is from February, so yeah, don't do that nowadays. In fact, you probably don't want to get your wife just cooking utensils if you care about her. Honestly, don't do that. That's kind of sexist. Now, if she really wants that kind of stuff, then sure, but like obviously he's just implying that the role of a woman is just to cook and stuff. So that's cool.
And I'm willing to bet a romantic evening as well. Take my word for it. But of course, not everyone is interested in romance, and for some, even a brand new non-stick frying pan wouldn't be enough to pique their romantic interest.
That was probably a pansexual joke, and I'm not going to lie, that actually was relatively subtle to what he usually says. So there you go. Good job, Matt.
This is the so-called asexual and aromantic community.
Saying so-called makes it sound as if it's not real, so he's just denying the reality that asexual and aromantic people exist. I find it interesting, he just doesn't believe that people cannot have sexual or romantic attraction.
Unfortunately, they are the ones that the Washington Post is thinking about on Valentine's Day. This weekend, WAPO published a piece written by a woman named Samantha Sherry, and it was titled, quote, "How Asexual and Aromantic People Make Valentine's Day Their Own." Now, the article begins by telling us about a 37-year-old person who goes by the name Odell Pax, and the Post reports this. Odell Pax identifies as both asexual and idem-romantic, which means that she does not have any desire for sex, and she doesn't make any distinction between romantic and platonic feelings. So what to do with a holiday that assumes romantic and sexual attraction are the norm? This year, she's doing what she usually does on February 14th, making time for self-love and self-care. For her, that means soaking in a hot bath before curling up in bed with her three stuffed animals, Findle, Marcia, and Sylvia. The last two names are named after trailblazing trans activists Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera.
That sounds like a pretty nice day, just chilling with some plushies. That sounds nice. I wonder how he's going to make this sound bad.
Yes, why not? I mean, why not tell us the names of this grown adult stuffed animals? And if that's not enough, we're also treated to a picture of Odell with the stuffed animals, along with this caption. This is the caption under the picture. It says, "Odell Pax with her three dolphin stuffed animals, Sylvia, Findle, and Marcia," from left to right.
I don't see how this is bad. It's just a person who likes to chill with three plushies. In fact, they're really not even that good at it. Only three of them? Come on, get more. And really, dolphins, everyone knows sharks are where it's at. Come on.
It's a very good thing they specified from left to right, because otherwise we wouldn't know for sure which stuffed animal is named Marcia and which one is Sylvia. So now we know, and we can sleep easy tonight. Sleep easy, anyway, with the somewhat cruel satisfaction we all sometimes experience after seeing someone else's utterly pathetic and depressing life and feeling deeply relieved that it's not our own life.
What is depressing about just chilling, taking care of yourself, and taking a nice bath, and then chilling with some plushies? What is depressing about that? That sounds really chill to me.
I try not to delight in the misfortune of others, and I don't delight at all in Odell's misfortunes. I don't.
You really kind of just implied that you did, so which one is it? And also, once again, it's not really misfortune, it's just someone vibing. Not everyone wants to have romantic relationships, that's okay.
But I will admit that when I read this article and I see that picture, I can't help but think to myself, my God, I'm glad I'm not that person. Anyway, here's more from the Washington Post. It says, Pax is not alone in rejecting the notion that relationships acknowledged on February 14th have to include romance and sex. Roughly 1% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual Americans are asexual, according to a study from the Williams Institute at the University of California, Los Angeles. Although experts such as Jennifer Pollitt, Assistant Director of Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies at Temple University in Philadelphia, believe the population is undercounted and its influence underestimated because of a lack of awareness. Sexual intimacy is often placed on a pedestal to sell products, especially for Valentine's Day, Pollitt said, but love without romance or sex is just as valid and fulfilling for asexual and aromantic people. As more people understand that, there will be more support for people exploring their relationship wants, hopes, and needs. In the meantime, many people on the A spectrum, also known as ASPEC or ASPEC, an umbrella term for anyone who identifies as asexual and aromantic, are finding creative ways to define the holiday on their own terms.
Now, the article does continue providing along the way more examples and anecdotes of asexual and aromantic people celebrating Valentine's Day, but I think we've probably already heard quite enough. We've heard, for example, this sentence. Again, roughly 1% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual Americans are asexual.
Those terms are most likely referring to their romantic attraction, not their sexual attraction. It's not that hard to understand. Pretending like it's a complex issue makes you look stupid.
Now let's think about that. Bisexual Americans are asexual. That is exactly like saying that 1% of polytheistic people are atheistic.
Nope, that analogy doesn't work at all because once again, it's probably referring to romantic attraction, not sexual attraction.
You cannot be something and also the negation of that thing at the same time.
I would say probably use the term biromantic, but of course, even if they use that term, I doubt Matt Walsh would actually care because he doesn't care about the subject, he just cares about demonizing minority groups.
If somebody is sexually attracted to two sexes, or sexually attracted to the same sex, that means they do experience sexual attraction, which would seem to preclude them from claiming the title of asexual.
Do I have to say it again?
But then again, we must remember the first rule of the LGBT cult, which is that
Calling the minority group a cult, you are just such a beautiful, amazing person, Matt Walsh. Friendly reminder, if you would refer to like conservatives as a cult, he would be saying that you are a bad person. But as soon as it's a minority group that he's calling a cult, it's A-okay on his part. You could say that I'm being hyperbolic here, but Matt Walsh is the kind of guy to, at the same time, celebrate a murder and say that people calling for violence are bad.
they can make it up all as they go along, and nothing they say has to comport with anything else they say.
Once again, one person could be asexual and homoromantic or biromantic, or they could be aromantic and homosexual or bisexual. Those are completely logical statements. You are just pretending to be stupid.
And they must never be held to even the most basic standard of coherence. That's why any attempt to nail down a definition of what qualifies as asexual or aromantic will ultimately wind up as fruitless as any attempt to get anyone on the left to give a definition of literally any other word they use.
Sexual attraction and romantic attraction aren't the same thing. They can be, but they aren't inherently the same thing. So therefore, homoromantic or biromantic people could be asexual, and aromantic people can be bisexual or homosexual. Now, there is more in the video, but I learned that if you just watch up until the ad of the conservative video, there'll be nothing new that they will say for the rest of the video. Matt Walsh wants to pretend to be dumb because if you don't know what something means, you could just deny the existence of it. So that's basically what he did. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider like and subscribe, and Creeper out.
Socialism is when the government does stuff. And it's more socialism, the more stuff it does. And if it does a real lot of stuff, it's communism.